What is going on, everybody? I am the original gamer, StevieStrow, and I am joined by Curtis Boyle of the Color Computer Games list. And we are back for another Defender clone derivative type game. This one's called Annihilator. What can you tell us about Annihilator, Curtis?
Well, Annihilator's kind of the derivative thing. It's got smart bombs, it's got the radar, it's got the multiple ships and shooting things and everything else, just like Defender does, scrolling landscape. Some differences are there's no humans to rescue, which you'll see in a couple of the derivatives. One nice thing about this game, it was actually part of one of the cassette-based subscription magazines, so it was like dirt cheap. You paid $50 for the year, and you got a game on every tape, and you got some utilities and stuff. So this game was really, really cheap as part of the subscription.
Nice, nice. All right, and we're looking at a picture of what this game looks like on Curtis's website. There will be a link to Curtis's site in the description. I strongly suggest you check out the Color Computer Games list for all kinds of really good information. And we are now going to go ahead and just jump in.
I like the intro here. The premise of the game is actually a little bit humorous.
Okay. Should I read it, or should we let the people read it to themselves?
I don't know. How many blind listeners do you have? Especially like aliens are harmless.
Yeah, aliens are harmless, but you want to kill them anyways, just like flies. They're harmless, but you want to kill them anyways. And you know what? Honesty goes a long way. Okay, now this one is keyboard only?
Yes, it is. Yes, arrow keys to move, space bar to fire, clear key is your smart bomb. And if you want to pause, you can hit the P key.
Okay, we can move in two directions.
Yep.
Space bar to fire. What is the key for the smart bomb?
Clear.
Clear.
Like,
and I'm not.
Next word, I can't remember what it said. It goes.
Sound effects sound very familiar. I've heard this sound effect before.
One other unique thing about this version is that you'll notice the aliens actually don't fire. They just collide with you.
Yeah.
Because they are harmless, after all.
Yes, they are harmless, but we want to kill them anyways, just like flies. Hey guys, it's the original gamer StevieStrow here, and I want to talk to you about the Coco Crew podcast. Hosted by John Linville and Neil Blanchard, it is a delicious journey into retro computing featuring the Tandy color computer. So if you are into vintage computing, retro computing, old school gaming, and especially if you're a Coco nut who's into the color computer, you gotta check out the Coco Crew podcast at cococrew.org, also available on iTunes and Stitcher. And tell them the original gamer StevieStrow sent you. Well, I'm doing a terrible job.
Like flies, right?
Yes. These are those new flies that bring diseases. I don't know what they call those things. All right. So what are we doing here? Oh, you know what I just noticed too? And maybe it's just my eyes, but it seems like the laser beam has different shades to it. Like they're mixing blue and white, so It looks like it's it feels a little tiny bit rigid moving up and down though. The left and right movement's pretty quickly, but the up and down feels like you feel like you're really heavy.
Yeah, it's a lot slower vertical movement than horizontal.
Yeah.
Does take a while to get used to.
But basically, you could, if they're off in the distance. Wow. Yeah, it's tricky. It is a very dense field of harmless aliens that you must navigate. They're harmless until touched.
Judging by your death rate, I wouldn't quite call them harmless.
Ouch!
They're kamikaze pilots.
Yes. It's cool, though. It's very cool. I like it. Yeah. It's a basic space shoot-'em-up.
I mean, for a cassette-based game, which is basically the cheaper stuff, it wasn't meant to be commercial grade per se. It actually is pretty good.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, honestly, there's been a lot of quote-unquote commercial software that really wasn't that good either.
The title. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
commercial ripoff.
Yes. Yeah, this is cool. A lot of stuff on that radar. So what do you have to look forward to? Can you clear the waves? And if so, what happens?
I think you just get more, probably a little bit faster or something. I can't remember.
All right.
Nothing super extravagant from what I remember. The level counter goes up.
Okay. And yeah, I don't know what key is clear. Okay, that's it right there. Looks like home. On my PC keyboard, it's home. Okay. That's cool. I like it. Looks like there's a little bit of randomness where do they pop out, or am I just not seeing them at first? Like they haven't been.
It's a little bit of glitch in the programming that if you're moving fast and they're off screen, they'll kind of just pop once you stop on screen.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Those are some of the ones that I'm hitting too. So.
Yep. The radar is critical.
Yeah, this little sucker. I'm sitting here chasing this ding dong down, and all right. So what can I tell you? That was Annihilator. Let me scroll down a little bit more. So the author's name was Doug Kelly. It was published by Chromaset.
One of several Coco-based, cassette-based, I should say, Coco magazines.
A subscription-based service. So that would be kind of like getting Rainbow on tape.
Yep. There was Rainbow on tape. There was T&D software. There was Chromaset. There's a few others I can't remember off the top of my head. One was actually even done up here in Saskatchewan.
Okay. Well, actually, I'm going to sit here and watch the demo for a second because the demo definitely looks better than my skills.
At GSoft, we make games for the TRS-80 color computer, TRS-80 MC10, and Dragon computers. Our basic games cover the range of genres from arcade, to text adventures, to simulations, to 3D dungeon crawls. This is our latest puzzle game from Japan, Fruit Panic. So come on and drop by our website and download our latest games.
By all means here. But that was cool. That was very cool. Thanks for sharing this with me. There's so much information on your website. It's absolutely amazing. You know, when I'm trying to remember how many games I had when I had my color computer. If I had to guess, I don't know, maybe 100, you know, in the 80s. And that's probably stretching it, so maybe 50, 60 games. When I started recording videos, I figured maybe I would record 100 games, and that would be a pretty cool goal to shoot for. And as I'm learning, there are so many games for the color computer I didn't even know existed, you know.
Yeah, there's actually a few I've been discovering lately that I didn't know existed because a lot of stuff was done in England for the Dragon that never made it here, and now people have been, you know, changing the key controls and stuff for it, and they're coming over to the Coco, you know, years later, and there's some pretty darn good stuff in there that we never saw in North America for the most part. Yeah.
So yeah, having your website, for example, as a resource, and then just, you know, everybody in the community and things like the Color Computer Archive and everything else, it's just amazing how much was out there.
Let the Radio Shack TRS-80 put the world of color computing into your home. Instant loading program packs turn any color TV into an exciting game arcade. And there's more. The color computer is an educational aid, a home management tool, an up-to-the-minute electronic information service. The programmable, expandable TRS-80 color computer from $399 only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
And it's still a work in progress. I mean, I'm just about up to 500 now, and I could easily get to 600 or 700 just from the ones I haven't touched
So
yet.
you have 500 games already chronicled on your website.
Almost, and I'll be breaking that this year. So.
That's a lot of games, and so if nothing else, I can just follow your website and play them if I need a guide, right? And so for those of you watching at home, if you want to find out more about color computer games, because I've only recorded maybe 100 of them, Curtis has got 500 of them on his website, so make sure you check it.
100's missing yet.
100's missing, so it's a work in progress. And not only that, but we have people in the community who are still actively developing what we call homebrew games. You know,
actually, some of those I wouldn't call homebrew. Some of them were commercial, like Nick Marenti's, his new Popstar Pilot. I mean, he sold commercial games in Radio Shack.
Right. So help me understand that. Then what? Because I don't know the distinction. I just assume homebrew meant like homemade because there's no more studios doing this, or is there a distinction from? Is homebrew more of like a project-y, small type game versus?
Yeah, it depends on who you talk to. I mean. For some people, homebrew is just like, it means it's more of a homemade game and it shows it. It's not, you know, professional grade.
Okay.
On the other hand, if you've got a obsolete console like 2600, you've seen some new games that are considered homebrew that are actually better than the ones that were up for the 2600 when it was brand new.
Right.
So, I mean, my personal preference is more towards the former, where it's the commercial grade of the game.
Okay.
And Nick was a professional published author for
Sure.
years, so for him, I would consider him a professional. But
yes.
I guess with the terminology that they're using today, probably would be considered homebrew because the machine is no longer sold. So.
Okay. So let's just agree to say community created content.
Sure. Great game. That's what I.
Great game. Yes. So basically, there are well over 500 games, probably 600.
There's
or more.
over 700. I could tell you.
Okay.
I've got a whole queue of stuff that I have to do all the research on the technical aspects and who wrote them and when they came out and that kind of thing.
Wow. Okay.
There's lots I haven't done yet.
So historically, 700 color computer games that we know of. The archaeologist may somewhere unearth some more. And then in addition to that, there are still actively new developed titles by people in the community. So the color computer is alive and well, and there's plenty for us to play. So
that's
make
why
sure
there's still Cocoa Fests coming up.
And that's right, and that's where we will be. So make sure you check out Curtis's website. I think we've talked long enough on this video. So thank you all for watching. We will see you all later. Take care. I hope you had as much fun watching this video as I had making it for you. And if you did, then do me a favor and smash that like button and subscribe to this channel. If you've got something you'd like to say, throw out a comment and let me hear it. I'd really appreciate it if you could share this video and my channel with your friends. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and long live the Cocoa.